Hey everybody, I'm Megan and welcome to Inside Powder Coating, a brand new show all about powder coating. We're going to be covering a variety of topics, so make sure you check back often for new shows. On this first episode, we're going to cover the basics. What is powder coating and why is it better than liquid paint? I sat down with Joey Golliver, President and CEO of PowderX Coating Systems, to find out. So we're sitting here with Joey Golliver. Why don't you tell us a little bit about powder coating?
Okay, powder coating is a finishing method very similar to a paint or a chroming process. Is where a powder, which is basically the consistency of a baby powder or talcum powder with some color to it, is applied electrostatically to a product and then baked into a finish. The powders are basically a mixture of just different resins and pigments and things of that nature that give them specific hardness or glow-in-the-dark capabilities or the ability to bend more or to be more pliable. So just a lot of different variations on the powders themselves.
Well, how did powder coating get started? What was its original use?
Originally, powders were developed from a functional standpoint because they were looking for coatings that you could apply thicker on things like pipeline, and that happened in the late 1950s. Well, in the 1970s, we had the Clean Air Act in the United States. There was another act in Europe that were all about the environment. What are we doing to the environment? Basically the original concerns about being green, and what was determined was that the solvents and the different emissions and things from the painting processes and the chroming processes and all those were actually doing harm to the environment. Well, powder coating at that point had to step more to the forefront and try to go from being just a functional coating into being something that's more aesthetically pleasing and more available for a lot of different things, as opposed to its very limited inception to being able to be used on a lot of different things today.
And that's when the colors came in, all the different types of colors.
That's when we started developing the different colors, the candies, the chromes, the glow in the dark, the anti-graffiti, antimicrobial, anti-foul, all the different things that you can do with some sort of a liquid application have slowly been developed more and more, especially in the last 20 years, in powders. And even today, as an industry, we're still working more on powders that can cure at lower temperatures, or for the ability to do woods or plastics or things of that nature.
So how is powder coating easier or better than using liquid?
That's probably a twofold question, and from an applicator standpoint, or you're a general industry that you manufacture a widget and you have to put a coating on that widget. What makes powder coating better? Well, you have none of the environmental concerns. Your ability to get through regulations with the county or the city or the state or whomever are easier, therefore they're a lot less expensive. The energy costs for running a powder process tend to be quite a bit less than running a liquid process. And powders are probably 30 to 40% less costly to apply than the other finishing processes. From an end user standpoint, you want to walk in and you're going to you're trying to look at a method for coating your rims or your lawn furniture or your fence that goes around your house or whatever. From your standpoint, it's better because it lasts a lot longer. It's more of a pliable finish, and it's more prone to withstand the environment than any of the other coatings are. So it saves you money personally from having to get something coated year after year after year. You get it coated now and it lasts several years down the road.
Who exactly uses powder coating?
Who uses it? Oh gosh, it's used on car rims, motorcycle frames, bicycle frames. It's used in architecture, used in automotive. It is used a lot in the marine industry. So basically anything that's metal at this point more than likely can be powder coated. So there are a lot of different uses for it. One of the great things that most people don't realize about powders are just how varied that they are, the possibilities, because you can do most any color that's available with liquids you can do with powders, and most people just don't realize that. They remember the technology from 20-30 years ago and how limited it was, and don't realize how unlimited it is today.
Every episode, Joey's going to answer questions from viewers, so make sure to send yours in. Here he is with the first question.
I have an email question here on the Ask Joey section that come from Matt in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Matt wants to know what chemicals are used in the pre-treatment station. In the videos, I notice your operator isn't wearing a mask, so I'm assuming they're pretty safe. Do you use different chemicals for aluminum versus steel? Well, Matt, what we're going to do is we're going to walk out to the training center, and we'll show you what chemicals we use and why we use them, and then that way you'll have a better idea of what you want to use in your setup.
Okay, Matt, the chemical that we use in the videos is CalPrep 59 by Powder X Coating Systems. What it is, it's a very specifically formulated multi-metal cleaner coater phosphate. Now the reason we use multi-metal cleaner coater that we specify versus saying just give me a phosphate is simple. Cleaner coater, what that tells the chemical supplier is they're going to provide you with a phosphate that has surfactants or soaps in it. So while it phosphates your product, it'll also act as a degreaser and a cleaner. Multi-metal is the kicker. You're asking your question about doing steel and aluminum if we use a different chemical? Not actually, not with this system we don't. This is used in most pre-treatment, closed loop type pre-treatment stations, 3-stage washers, steam units, things of that nature. We say multi-metal because that's going to let the engineers at the chemical company know to put a little bit of fluoride in when they're creating the chemical so it will help etch the aluminum. Regular phosphates won't do that. So we need that little bit of fluoride in order to etch the aluminum so the powder's got something to bite to. Hope that helped you, and we'll see you next time. All right, I want to thank Matt for his question. We've got a great care package going out to you from Inside Powder Coating. Want everybody to be sure that you watch the videos very closely. Pay attention to the girls. They're going to tell you where to send in your question. Be happy to answer them. And if we answer them on the air, we'll be glad to send you a care package that's got a hat and some other cool things from Powder X in it. Probably even some free admission to our training classes in Tennessee. So make sure you check that out.
And if you have any questions for Joey, make sure you send them in to askjoey@insidepowdercoating.com. And that's all for our first show. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check back for future episodes.